Welcome back to the Delaware Way. I'm Larry Menti. There have been some big breakthroughs when it comes to treatment and a possible cure for Alzheimer's that has researchers and advocates alike excited. Two of them are here right now. Dr. Michael Gitcho is the assistant professor at Delaware State University of Biological Sciences, and Katie Macklin is the executive director of Alzheimer's Association Delaware Valley Chapter. Thank you both for being here. Let's talk about the advances. Let's talk about the breakthroughs that we've had recently. Doctor, why don't we start with you?
Yeah, there's some really good drug trials that are coming out now. There's a monoclonal antibody trial that has some promise to be able to target. I think the most interesting thing now is detection of the disease early, and through the amyloid imaging, and now they have tau markers for the two pathologies in Alzheimer's for being able to see these changes early. We can target things a lot earlier for when it comes to drugs.
So where are we at right now? Are we close to a cure?
I believe that we are. So I think we're at the tipping point right now. Unfortunately, what we've seen with Alzheimer's disease is a lack of funding for Alzheimer's disease research at the NIH. It's been woefully underfunded. And so a big part of our advocacy efforts is encouraging our members of Congress to support additional funding for Alzheimer's research. And we've seen significant progress on that front. In fiscal year 16, Alzheimer's research funding got a boost or bump up of an additional $350 million in federal funding for Alzheimer's research, which was very much needed, and we know that investing today is going to lead to the savings of tomorrow with Alzheimer's disease, because it is the most expensive disease in our country, and so it's vitally important that our federal government invest in those research projects to find new treatments, ways to prevent the disease, and ultimately a cure.
It's got to be so frustrating to a researcher. It has to be so frustrating because you feel like, okay, here we are, we're getting close, right, and then you have a budget that comes out with funding being cut.
Right, it's a 20% decrease in NIH funding across the board, over $6 billion. And the reasoning, it seemed like they wanted to consolidate. And when it comes to a business model, consolidation works well. We consolidate in a way of collaboration. But to consolidate, focusing less researchers on discoveries of certain diseases. So we're looking at things from different angles. Though the grants seem similar, targeting Alzheimer's disease and dementia, everyone's looking at this from a different angle to see where we can find a mechanism for treating this terrible disease.
Which is so important. What you're talking about is extremely important. You don't want everybody looking at the same thing. It's duplicitous, right, and it doesn't help
And
at
the
all.
NIH is great about that because there's no duplication when it comes to their grants, except for the idea about targeting certain diseases and certain ways to address it. How people look at things from different angles, and that's why the academic system works so well with this through collaborations at other institutions too. It's just so important.
Every day you seem to be reading about some new treatment or some new drug. Explain what you said a moment ago, that it is the most expensive disease. Is that because of long-term care? Is that it?
It is. It's in regards to the cost of caring for the population of people with Alzheimer's disease here in our country. We also know that prevalence is on the rise, and on the rise in an exponential rate. Right now we estimate that there are over 5.5 million Americans who are living with Alzheimer's disease, and another American develops the disease every 66 seconds. So that's a huge number of people who are developing Alzheimer's disease. And along with that, we know that the cost of caring for this population is going to expand in lockstep with the growing prevalence of this disease. We also know that people with Alzheimer's disease are high users of healthcare dollars. So along with that as well is that huge cost of this disease. And I mentioned it is the most expensive disease in the country today. It's estimated to cost the United States over $259 billion in just 2017 alone. So this is the first year that Alzheimer's costs surpass over $250 billion.
So any effort to stop it actually would save money, yes, in the long run. And excuse this question, but I know that people are skeptical, so I'm going to ask it anyway. Many times people think that advocacy groups say, we're so close, we just need this much more money. We're so close. If you just give a little bit more money, we're going to have a cure. And then it seems like the cure is never there. It just perpetuates forever. Are we really that close?
I think we are, because of the studies that are going on worldwide. I mean, there's 30 a billion, or I'm sorry, 30 million people, 30 to 50 million people worldwide today with Alzheimer's disease that are living with it. And I think the research is from worldwide collaboration is really the key to addressing this. And I think we are close because of these new trials that are coming out, and our understanding of the disease itself is getting better. It's a very complex disease, and it was discovered 100 years ago. So things are changing, and we're moving forward with this.
I understand. And so if this funding is cut, if this budget is cut, you're going to need people to step up.
We absolutely will need people to step up and use their voice, because we have made significant progress in the fight against the disease. As Dr. Gitcho mentioned, we're seeing progress in research, but if we were to see a cut in funding, that would be a significant step backwards, unfortunately.
We're taping this before you go down to Washington, so good luck in Washington. Hopefully by the time this airs, you'll have good news, and you'll come back, because I know you have some big fundraisers, some walks coming up in September.
Yes.
So we'll come back to talk about
Absolutely.
that. Dr. Michael Gitcho, Assistant Professor, Delaware State University, and Katie Macklin, Executive Director of the Alzheimer's Association Delaware Valley Chapter. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
That's the Delaware Way for this week. Go to www.kjwp2.com to replay segments from this show or previous shows, and leave your comments about what you've seen on today's show on our Facebook page, or you can reach out to me on Twitter at The Delaware Way or at Larry Menti. We may read your thoughts in a future show. I'm Larry Menti. We'll see you again next week.